I did a personality test and I was an introvert. And then over the next few years, I tried really hard to be social. I looked up this topic a lot, especially when I was getting bullied at school. And I started to be more social, make some friends, and get comfortable going to meeting a bunch of new people, even though this whole way through I struggled with that. But I learned a bunch of really important lessons, and I felt like I was happy to be social. It became something that I really enjoyed in my life. And then I redid this test, and all of a sudden I was an extrovert. And it made me realize, like, maybe a lot of people who get diagnosed or get called introverts are actually just scared of being social, and so they're more comfortable just saying, oh, I'm an introvert, and not going out there and trying to do this. But this is why I've compiled a bunch of important lessons that help me go make this crazy transformation to be more social. And I'm gonna give you these lessons in this video so that you can, and like the time that I use these lessons with an example, like a case study of when I made a super close friend when I was still very awkward. And before I get into that video, I'm about to start, but I do have, for free, a full written social skills guide that you can view in my Discord with like step-by-step and like the basics of being more social. And I have a lot of videos on this type of content. So subscribe and especially join my Discord if you're interested. Give me any questions. I'm gonna get in the video. I was with my friend, and basically the night before this, I went out, and this morning, like we were out on like a social event the night before, and I bumped in this guy, and we were like, oh, we gotta hang out now, bro. So the next morning we went to the gym, and we're there, and I see this guy, and my friend and I, who from last night, we're talking about something, but we're not sure the right answers. So I literally just turned to my left, and I'm like, yo, do you remember what time that thing closed? Or I said some random shit, right? And I said it to this guy that I don't think I'd ever spoken to him. It was a very scary looking guy. I mean, it's kind of ironic because I'm literally about to go hang out with him. But I literally just let out everything that I had to say in my mind. And he was really nice to talk to. He gave me the answer, and then, we had a quick little chat. He's like, oh, sorry, what was your name again? And we had a quick chat, got back to the workout. And over the course of the workout, we did this a few times. Now, the lesson behind this is whatever comes to your mind, whatever words it is, we always think, oh, if I say this, they're going to think I'm weird. Or what if I'm weird? We're always worried about that, right? But most of the time when you just say it, it's actually valid. Otherwise, your brain wouldn't have naturally thought of it. Because unless you're thinking of like some fucked up shit, like if you don't say anything like vulgar or like too much in front of a stranger, then you can pretty much say whatever you want, like that comes to your mind. So, for example, something that you can't say is you probably shouldn't like start talking about sex or something, you know what I mean? Yo, bro, what do you think about sex? Like, that's like weird to say. But if you say like something within reason, like you genuinely are curious about this question or the shirt he's wearing, or no matter how dumb it seems in your mind, just say it. The next strategy, you might wonder, like, how did I just so easily just blurt out what I was thinking? It takes time. But I developed a strategy that you can do this very quickly. You get more comfortable saying what comes to your mind. And this is a great social skills strategy over the course of, it only takes you a short amount of time to do it. And it helps you in every single area of being social. I finished school, I was on holidays, and I came back to my hometown in Hong Kong. And I have a few friends here who I've grown up with, right? So I organized to hang out with them as much as possible, and we were doing a bunch of activities, and we were spending a lot of time together, but I was still not drinking, and I wasn't really doing too much like socially, like big social events. It was just like, oh yeah, let's go get a dinner, or let's go to the gym. And then there was like one party, and most of the time I was just uploading on my channel, going to the gym, going to the beach, just staying in my own lane, But I made sure to do something social every day. And even something as small as me hanging out with my boxing coach and trying to talk to him more at boxing training, because my boxing coach and I are friends. So after a few weeks of just trying to be as social as possible, doing as many like little things, of course you're going to notice that if you're learning these lessons that I speak about in this video, your social skills is going to skyrocket. You're going to become so much more fun to be around. And so I call this the 2-week strat. Although that's like the healthy variation of the 2-week strat. There's also like, and I actually recommend this. If you're a guy who's never been out, never been to parties, just go and find as many things to do for 2 weeks throw in a few parties or like big events. Like in Australia, there's this thing called the U18 event. And so the time that I did this strategy is I would plan to hang out with as many friends, go to the beach, and then there would be like, okay, well, I'll go out on this Saturday night, and then I'll also go out to this under 18 event on this like Sunday or this random day or this Monday random day. And then you go to all those and you just have, you try, like then there's other social strategies of when you go to a big social event, but that's more so in my like full social skills written guide in my Discord and my other videos, because that's like a really big topic. But after a while, you just get so much more comfortable with it and it becomes so much easier to be social. Now, when I was in the gym with this guy, I saw he was wearing this thing, like it's like this fitness tracker. I was like, yo, is that a Whoop, bro? I blurted it out again, keep that in mind. It came to my mind, and then I had like a tiny quick glance at it, and I just said it as soon as I could. Because for me, since I was awkward at this time, I was naturally holding back things in my mind. So the problem wasn't that when I say it, it would be wrong, because I was usually overthinking it too much anyways. The problem was I was just too scared to say anything. So I spoke about this band because I was genuinely interested in it, and I spoke to him and we spoke about some fitness, and it just led from one thing that I was interested in to another, that's how you know you've met like a good friend for sure. Because sometimes people are awkward, but once you get past the awkward phase and you're just talking about shit you're interested in, then like it's really easy to talk to this guy about fitness, because I'm interested in that shit as well. And it's really easy to talk to your friends at the boxing gym because you just talk about boxing. That's why you go to places where other people have your interests, such as the gym. And especially like a big guy, he's bound to be like fairly interested in the gym. If you're liking this advice so far, bro. Oh wait, let me finish this point real quick. The whole point that I'm making here is that you need to speak your mind and speak about your real interest, even if it's gaming, Minecraft, gym, whatever it is. Speak about it and ask the questions you really want to ask, even if you feel like they might be weird, because they never really are. It's just like that most people don't have good social skills. So you feel weird for doing this, but it's actually great social skills. Good people will never flame you, even if you ask a dumbass question or you say something stupid. And something a big thing I've learned is even if you say like one or two dumb things, that doesn't ruin the 10 other great things you said. If you make one mistake, that doesn't ruin 10 great things that you said. In very rare examples, it might have like a bad effect. Like if you're with your girlfriend and then you say something, she might get really insecure about that, compared to like most of the time in your real life. Like as long as you just speak your mind, you're never going to be in this, like unless you're in a professional setting, you can basically say whatever you want. And honestly, even with my girlfriend, I just say whatever I want, to be honest. But like obviously I care not to try and hurt her feelings, but that's all we can do is just speak our mind. And then every time we fuck up, because we're never trying to do it, just try and like explain, oh, I didn't mean it. It's just that like I'm trying to think less about what I'm saying, and I'm trying to be like more fun to be around, but I always hold in what I say. If you explain it and you communicate, then it's not actually a bad thing at all. If you're liking this advice so far, bro, like and comment something, any question you have on this advice or any of your experiences you've had, or literally anything, bro. I'm just asking you to comment so I get like a better video, but you don't have to if you don't want. It's up to you, brother. Now, the thing is, right after we were having a bit of a chat in the gym, I just said, yo, bro, you want to get lunch after this? Because there's a restaurant in the gym that I go to. And he was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm not doing anything else. And so we went and ate dinner. Now, the lesson behind this, you'd be so fucking surprised at who's down to hang out if you just ask. Like, genuinely, this applies to a lot of things in life. If you just ask, you're so likely to get a lot of things that you want. Now, the next point that I want to make is when we were finally sitting down at like eating lunch. See, the conversation, because we were seated across from each other, all of a sudden we'd go quiet. And I was thinking about this at the time, but I was sitting down and I was like, silence doesn't matter. Silence doesn't matter. I was reminding myself that in my mind. And I took a deep breath and I just looked around. We weren't talking for a few minutes. And then I had something to talk about because I was so calm not saying something. And obviously I'd done the 2-week strategy and I'd gotten more comfortable around social situations. So this was a bit easier now. And then I understood this concept as well. Just took a deep breath. And then when something came to my mind, because I was relaxed, so it did, then I started speaking about that. And that's a really important lesson. When conversation goes silent, just take a deep breath. It's only awkward in your mind. It's not, silence isn't an awkward thing. It's just that most people view it as awkward, or a lot of people view it as awkward. But the really interesting thing is, right, if I'm sitting here and the conversation goes silent and I start getting nervous and then I start trying to force a conversation, then the other person's going to tell that I'm nervous, and then they're going to feel like a bit awkward around me, right? But if they see the conversation go silent and they see me just like staring in the distance, they know that I've spoken about how I don't think silence matters a lot of times, then they're just going to look at me and be like, oh, this isn't awkward. This is just silent. Like, it's like how you can be with your best friend and the conversation's completely silent. But then if you meet someone new, it's hard to be with, like, hang out with them and have the conversation go silent. But it's just a mindset change. It's literally so simple. Like, silence just doesn't matter. I'm truly telling you this. If you don't think it matters, it doesn't matter. It's how you react to the silence. It's not the actual silence. Now, my last point that I want to make is when we were sitting down, you know, it's nice to have something to talk about, and sometimes your mind genuinely does go blank. So one thing I recommend, I just told him about what I did yesterday. So I was like, yo, last night we were out, and I told him this like kind of dumbass story. But the interesting part about this, since it was something I actually did last night, and it was a story I actually wanted to tell, and it was about my boys and I just like goofing around, then when I told him the story, and he was a similar kind of guy to me, he also wanted to be around like fun friends who weren't too worried about other people, which a lot of people are. A lot more people than you realize will mess with you and agree with and like you as a person than you would ever realize if you truly show yourself. Obviously, you get a bit more hate, but you can never let that get to your head. So basically, I talked about what I was actually doing, and he liked me, and he knew that he would want to be friends with me because now he knows more of what I actually like to do, or more of my personality. Whereas if I was before, when I was like not showing my full personality, how does he know if he wants to be friends with me? Like, it's just that we're always so scared of one person not liking us that we're always trying to find the perfect answer to tell them. When instead, if we just told them the truth about who we are, they would probably like us more most of the time, except for the one exception. But we're letting that one exception, that 1 in 10, that 1 in 15 people like you less. You're like making that ruin the 14 people who you would make really good friends with, you know? And so I think that's my final point. Speak about things, and only hold back if you're in like a professional setting, or like you're not going to tell your teacher you're like, yeah, I went on a date on... Well, you actually might, you know? Actually, you know what? That's a bad example. What's something like imagine if you're drinking, right? You're not gonna go up to your teacher at school and be like, yeah, I had a bunch of beers with Jimmy in the back, you know? That's stupid. But there's like, I think it's very easy to, like, you're gonna make a mistake here and there, but everybody makes a mistake saying things they don't mean to say sometimes. And it's worth it. It's 100% worth it to say everything that comes to your mind and mess up here and there. Because the thing is, after a few years, or at least even after a few weeks of doing this, you're going to start saying a lot less dumb shit, even from your natural, like, generated brain, you know? Only hold back if you're in, like, professional scenarios. But the thing is, that's why this, like, 2-week strategy is so amazing. Because if you've been doing the 2-week strategy, you're going to places where you're never going to see people again and working on your social skills there. So then when you meet like your girlfriend's mom, or like you're at a job interview and you're so used to, like, you've worked on not saying, like, you've realized, oh, if I say that, people respond badly, and you've tested it in a place where you don't have to see those people over and over again, or you don't have to see them again, then when you come to your real life, you can show up and you can present yourself really well and not say the dumbass things. So, you know, obviously it's good to speak your mind more, but it might be really hard in school, which I totally understand. Which is why, as the final thing I'm going to say in this video, is that you need to go join a sports group. They don't give a shit. Bro, nobody cares what I say at the boxing gym. Like, I get away with, like, so much. Like, I don't say anything horrible, but, like, there's so much more, like, freedom. Like, people care so much less when you're at a boxing gym, or if you're playing, like, rugby. It's like, it's just about, like, the sport, you know? So if you like this video, bro, join my Discord server, subscribe. Hope this really helped, and comment if what your favorite piece of advice was and like the video. Have a great day, man.